All right, thanks for joining us. This is Mark and Drew here, and myself, Trent. And today we're going to hit upon how to find stocks that are tradable. Two, what indicators does Mark use when once he finds those stocks? And then three, we're going to hit upon examples of those stocks and how he's going to trade them. All right, Mark, let's get going.
All right, Mark, I have a question. So, there's so many stocks in the market, right? So it's for some beginners, it's really hard to know even where to start. Can you share how you actually find this pool of candidates that you actually start looking into for the swing trades?
Sure. I look at a lot of charts normally over the weekend, and then I put together a list. But I start with looking at the sectors within the S&P. There's 11 sectors. And I look at which sector are trading above the 200-day and which sectors are trading below the 200 days with simple moving average. And then I also look at which sector may be trading above the 200-day simple moving average, but moving down in a trending pattern as far as price action, and which ones are trading under and might be moving up in price action. So what I really want to find are stocks that are basically their price action have been beaten down, and they normally go into a sideways pattern. And then I look for when they start swinging back up. And that's when you can make the most of your trades. So finding stocks that are going up, there's a lot of stocks that I look at that have been going up that could potentially go up, but the risk reward side might not be as good moving up because we're already up against either a resistance line or we're up against some stop limits that you can see, or we're tagging off the top of the Bollinger Band. So those are I don't do. I look at basically for the ones that are on the other side of the chart on the bottom and ready to start coming back up.
So, of these indicators, I know you shared a lot of great insights and indicators, but are there specific indicators that you focus on? There's so many indicators, but I think everyone has their own guidelines, and love to hear what you focus on. When you say it's plummeting and it's recovering.
Well, every stock has a trend, and it's in its price action. It's either trending up, it's trending sideways, or it's trending down. Okay, and the way that we chart those on the short term is people will look at moving averages, mostly simple moving averages. Some people do the 9, some people do a 10, some people do a 5-day moving average as a short-term moving average. And what that is it just takes the last 5 days of price closings, averages it out, divides by, adds it up, divides it by 5, and that's where the line is. So it gives you a trend of which way in a short term your stock is trending. So the other thing is a 20-day moving average, and people use that also. And you'll see that a lot of times you'll see a bounce between the 9 and the 20. And I use the 20 as what in American football is hash marks on the football field. You're not quite out of bounds yet, but you can get close. And then long term, the main moving averages are the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. And those tend to provide a little more, if you're moving up, trying to get above them, a little more resistance. If you're moving down, a little more support. Not always, but generally. And then I use 3 simple oscillators, the MACD, which is the convergence divergence. Then you have the RSI, which is a momentum indicator. And I use the slow stochastic, which is just another indicator similar to the MACD. Those are what I use when I look at trends. When I look for stocks, I really look for stocks that have fallen down, move sideways, and have a good chance of going back up. So I put together for myself a dumpster list of stocks that are dumping. I put together a bunch of stocks lists that are trading under the 200-day simple moving average, but for the most part, I've hit my other indicators and are trending up. And then I have a horizons list that tells me these stocks are almost there, that meet almost all or all of my criteria for trading. And so stocks can move between the lists, and depending on what your risk level is, you could trade them in any of those lists. Again, this isn't financial advice. You want to do your own due diligence, but some lists are more risky than other risks. than other lists. So you want to be careful.
Awesome. And so you put this all together, all these indicators together on your charts. You set up your charts, and this is your rule book that you follow, pretty much, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So could you give us some examples of some stocks that you presently are maybe on your dumpster list, or that you have an eye on, and then talk through like the indicators and how you interpret them and where they're at today?
Well, let's look at one that's right now on our paper trade portfolio. So this is Abbott Labs, and there's a lot of stuff going on here in Abbott Labs. So this is Abbott Labs, and there's a lot of stuff going on this chart. You can see that over time, Abbott Labs was trading up here above its resistance, and then it had, you know, a little bit of a dumpster action here where price action dropped below the 9-day simple moving average and followed down. You can see it followed down the Bollinger Band and actually got out to the outside. A lot of times when you get to the outside, it'll pull back in like it did, still under the 9-day. About this point here, we crossed back over, but we're still under the 200-day simple moving average, and it continued to follow down and use the 9-day as a resistance level. Then we started to come back up, crossed over the 9-day, but we're still under the 200. Right here, we closed above the 200, but we weren't a full candlestick above the 200. So we want a little bit of confirmation. We come down, we look at the MACD, had a little bit of a crossover there, and then we've started diverging again from the signal line. We see our slow stochastic has separated. We see that our RSI was basically above 50. So we started to see this come up, and then we had a full candle close above the 200. Had some back test here, and actually here's where we would have probably gotten in a paper trade, is when this back tested and came back up, hit right on this line. And as you can see, we're continuing to move up. We're following the Bollinger Band up the last 4 days. We're above the 50-day simple moving average. We are coming up against a set of stop losses right here, and then we have a resistance line right here. So this will probably be come up, hit a stop, sell limit at the top, and we'll probably be out of this at some point.
Hey,
But
Mark,
yep.
let me talk about that stop loss line, because I think when you say that, a lot of people are like, what does that mean? Especially for those just starting out in this.
Sure. In this program on Active Trader Pro, you can get in and it will show you levels of where it anticipates where stop orders will be. And you can put it above or below, or tight or loose, which would move the stop limit up where the stop limits are. So when you come up here, you will see, when you hit this line, you'll probably see maybe a little bit over, but a bounce down, because you're going to have a resistance level here where there'd be stop orders to sell at this point. If you get past that, then we go up, and this is an intermediate term resistance line, which we will see more orders to probably sell also. Not all the time, but for the most time. You can see it works over here. But for the most part, so you can see in this trade, we're getting kind of close to our upper limits. Now, you can break through this, but every line represents a battle. And you have a battle of bulls, you have a battle of bears on each side, and you've got to figure out who's going to win. We had a nice little crossover down here, both the 20 and the 9-day of the 200-day simple moving average. And that's a bullish, they call it a golden crossover. So that's a good sign also. We're also continually to move up on these short-term moving averages. So again, we're in on this trade. We trade between the lines. So if we get up here and we trigger a limit order, a sell limit, that'll be fine because we made profit. We come down now, you can see our resistance line is the 50, and our support line is the 50, sorry, and our resistance line is going to be right up here, either at the Bollinger Band or at this stop loss level here. So this is what we're actually currently in as we speak today, as we record this.
All right, so Mark, I think these are great insights. Can you actually show us with an example of a stock?
Okay, so this is Target, and you know Target's had some issues with customers and other issues. You can see it was trending right sideways until they had issues, and then it dropped down below its 9, came down. You can see it followed the Bollinger Band just on the outside all the way down, came into hit its intermediate term support level, which you're seeing it's now moving sideways. The 9-day came back down to a point where it hit above the 9. See, we're still below the 200. Here's where you're going to find some stops. Seeing the 50 days coming down. We're still sideways level, seeing a little bit of a turn up. When we come down, we look at our oscillators. Our RSI is still below 50 here. We do have some separations on the MACD, and we do have a little bit of a rollover still on the stochastic. This one's not ready for me yet. You can see we're bouncing now between the 9 and the 20, like Trent has watched. If we can get over this 20 and start riding Bollinger Band back up, we're still under the 200. This may be something that we may be able to turn into some profits on the upside. Right now, I'm not there yet, but this is what I look for. Dumpster, sideways pattern, and then I want to see this start rolling up, but it's not there yet. But someday it may be, or it may just continue to go sideways or take another little dump below where it's at. We don't know yet. It's not on any of our list except for my dumpster list.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that gives us some ideas on how to structure your trades, how to look for good stocks to buy in the future, and happy trading. So go to the link in the below if you want to learn more about the swing trading program, where we do education along with 3 different trading lists each week. Mark releases those on Sunday evening. And also we have a discussion group on Friday at 11:30 Central that members can participate in as well. All right, so thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button, and go to the link to learn more about the Platinum Swing Trading Program. Happy trading.